The presentation that almost ruined me. I can still hear the faint hum of the projector as I stood frozen at the front of the boardroom, my palms slick with sweat, and my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. It was a chilly Wednesday morning in January 2025, and I was 34 years old, a senior account manager at a mid sized PR firm in New York City. The boardroom was on the 20th floor of a sleek Manhattan skyscraper, with floor to ceiling windows offering a view of the Hudson River. But I barely noticed the scenery. I was about to deliver the most important presentation of my career, a pitch to a potential client, a major tech company looking for a PR overhaul with a contract worth $2 million. I'd spent weeks preparing, but as I clicked to my first slide, I realized something was terribly wrong. The office was a modern space with glass walls, ergonomic chairs, and a coffee machine that always seemed to be brewing. I'd been with the firm for 5 years, climbing the ranks through hard work and a knack for managing high stakes clients. My team of four had been buzzing with excitement about this pitch. We'd brainstormed ideas, crafted a sleek deck, and rehearsed every detail. I had stayed up until 3 a.m. the night before, triple checking the slides on my laptop in my tiny Brooklyn apartment, the glow of the screen casting shadows on the walls. My cat Luna had curled up beside me, her purring the only sound breaking the silence as I muttered my opening lines to myself. I'd felt ready, confident even. But now, standing in front of the client's executives, that confidence evaporated. The projector screen flickered to life, displaying my title slide: Revolutionizing Your Brand, a PR strategy for tech trend innovations. I forced a smile, greeting the five executives seated around the table. 3 men and 2 women, all in sharp suits, their expressions a mix of curiosity and impatience. I launched into my introduction, my voice steady at first. Good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to present our vision for elevating tech trend innovation's public image. But as I clicked to the next slide, the screen froze. I clicked again. Nothing. My stomach lurched as I glanced at my laptop, where an error message blinked. File corrupted. Panic surged through me. The deck, the one I'd spent weeks perfecting, was gone. I fumbled with my laptop, muttering an apology as I tried to restart the presentation software. The room was silent, save for the faint ticking of a wall clock and the occasional shuffle of papers. One of the executives, a stern man with silver hair, cleared his throat. Is there a problem? He asked, his tone clipped. I felt my face flush. Just a technical glitch, I said, forcing a laugh that sounded more like a croak. I'll have it up in a moment. But the software wouldn't cooperate. Minutes stretched on, each one more agonizing than the last as I clicked uselessly, my hands trembling. Finally, I gave up. I'm so sorry, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. It looks like the file isn't loading. I can present without the slides if that's okay. The executives exchanged glances, their expressions ranging from annoyance to outright disbelief. I stumbled through the pitch from memory, my words disjointed and rushed. Without the visuals, the data charts, the mock campaigns, the timeline, I sounded unprepared, unprofessional. I could see the client's interest fading with every sentence. The silver-haired man interrupted halfway through. I think we've seen enough, he said, standing up. We'll be in touch. The others followed, filing out of the room without a word. I stood there alone, the projector still humming mockingly as I stared at the blank screen. I'd blown it. Back at my desk, I sank into my chair, my head in my hands. My team, Lisa, Tom, Sarah, and Raj, gathered around, their faces a mix of sympathy and concern. What happened? Lisa asked softly. I explained the corrupted file, my voice breaking as I admitted how badly I'd performed without the slides. They're not going to sign with us, I said, the reality hitting me like a wave. I've let everyone down. Tom tried to reassure me. These things happen, but I couldn't shake the guilt. That night, I went home to my apartment, the city lights twinkling outside my window, but I felt nothing but dread. I poured a glass of wine, sat on my couch, and replayed the disaster in my head, Luna purring beside me as if to offer comfort. The next day, I got the call I'd been dreading. My boss, Elaine, summoned me to her office, a corner space with a view of the Empire State Building. She was in her 50s with a no-nonsense demeanor, but I'd always respected her fairness. The client passed, she said, her tone flat. They said the presentation lacked professionalism and they didn't feel confident in our ability to deliver. I nodded, my throat tight, unable to meet her gaze. I'm sorry, Elaine, I whispered. She sighed. I know you worked hard, but this was a big loss. We'll need to put you on a performance improvement plan. Another mistake like this, and we'll have to let you go. The words stung, a harsh reminder of how much I'd risked and lost. The weeks that followed were some of the darkest of my career. The performance improvement plan meant weekly check-ins with Elaine, extra scrutiny on my work, and a constant fear of failure. My team tried to support me, but I could sense their hesitation. They didn't fully trust me anymore. I started second-guessing every decision, my confidence shattered. At home, I'd sit on my balcony staring at the Brooklyn skyline, wondering if I was cut out for this industry. I applied to other jobs, but the market was tough, and rejection emails piled up in my inbox. I felt trapped, my once promising career now hanging by a thread. Months passed, and the sting of that failed presentation lingered. The tech company signed with a rival firm, a fact I learned from an industry newsletter that landed in my inbox like a cruel taunt. I never landed another role elsewhere, and despite my best efforts, I couldn't regain Elaine's trust. In June 2025, after missing a minor deadline on another project, overwhelmed by the pressure of the improvement plan, Elaine called me into her office again. I'm sorry, she said, her voice softer this time. We have to let you go. I nodded, too numb to argue, and packed my things for the second time that year. I left the firm with a severance package, but no prospects, no confidence, and a deep sense of failure. Back in my apartment, I sat on my couch, Luna curled up beside me and cried. That presentation had been a turning point, but not the kind I'd hoped for. It had exposed my vulnerabilities, cost me my job, and left me questioning my worth. I eventually took a lower-paying role at a smaller agency, starting over as a junior account manager, a humbling step back. The road to rebuilding my career would be long, and I wasn't sure I'd ever regain what I'd lost. Looking back, that disastrous presentation taught me a hard lesson about preparation and resilience. When someone faces a high-stakes moment at work, they should always have a backup plan. Whether it's a printed deck, a USB drive, or a memorized pitch. She learned the hard way that technology can fail, and over-reliance on it can be a career killer. If you're preparing for a big presentation, test your materials repeatedly. Practice without visuals and have contingencies in place. And if things go wrong, don't let the failure define you. Seek feedback, learn from it, and keep pushing forward, even if the path is harder than you'd hoped.